We dealt with three kinds of conditions: the condition precedent, collateral condition, and condition subsequent. Today we will be dealing with that whatever the condition which is imposed by the transferor to the transferee while transferring the property should not be the condition which is forbidden by the law, or we can say which are void under the law. Now let us see, as we have in our earlier class also little bit discussed about what do we mean by the term void conditions. Today we'll be dealing in detail the conditions which are void in nature, and on the basis of that, if suppose a void condition is attached, then in that case whether the transfer is going to take effect or not, we are going to see today the various other aspects relating to the transactions in which certain conditions are attached with. But before we go further, it is important for us to understand which conditions would be termed to be a void one. So all the conditions are valid provided they are not impossible to perform, provided they are not forbidden by the law, provided they do not defeat the provision of law, provided they are not fraudulent, provided that does not involve injury to a person or a property of another, and provided they are not immoral or opposed to public policies. If these are the conditions, then in that case those conditions would be termed to be a valid one. But if the conditions are impossible to perform, if they are forbidden by the law, if they defeat the provision of law, if they are fraudulent, if they involve the injury to the person or the property of another, or if they are immoral or opposed to public policy, then in that case we would say these conditions to be a void one. Now, if we take into consideration the conditions which are impossible to perform, now let us understand in detail one by one the conditions which are impossible to perform. If the conditions which are attached to the transfer of the property is impossible to perform, the transfer of the property too cannot take place. Now what does this mean? This means that whenever a condition which is attached to the transfer of any of the property, then in that case, because that condition itself is what impossible to perform, because this condition is impossible to perform, then in that case whatever the property which is going to transfer from transferee to transferee, then in that case that particular transferee is not going to get any interest in that particular property, for the reason that the interest itself is not going to get transferred along with the property, because the condition which is attached to the transfer is of what nature? Impossible to perform. Here the impossible to perform means which is impossible for everyone to perform. Every individual, every human being, whosoever may be, is not in a position to perform that particular condition, and hence this condition impossible to perform would cover all those acts which are not possible for a human being to comply with. And hence if such kind of condition is attached, then in that case it would be termed that whenever such kind of a condition is attached in any of the transfer, the interest which is going to be transferred from transferee to the transfer would not take place. For example, Udit lets a farm to Naveen on a condition that he shall walk 100 miles in an hour. Is it possible for Udit to walk 100 miles in an hour? Udit, is it possible for you? No, it is not possible for Udit also. And hence this condition is impossible to perform. Now students, let us see the other things. When we say that the condition if defeat the provision of any law, If any of the condition which defeats the provision of any law, then in that case, that particular transaction would be called to be a void one. If the transfer is on such a condition that if the condition is performed, it will defeat the provision of any law. What does it says? If the transfer is based on such a condition, whenever a condition which is attached to a transfer is of such a nature that if that condition is performed, right, then in that case it would defeat the provision of any law. On the basis of that, if we say that particular transaction would take place, does it take place? No. The transfer on the basis of such condition would be termed to be a void one. For example, Shri transfers a property to Avanti on the condition that Avanti will marry Shri's son. Shri transfers his property to Avanti on the condition that Avanti will marry Shri's son. Avanti at that time was already married when this condition was given to her, or when this condition was imposed to her while transferring a property. What condition was that? That Avanti would marry Shri's son, and actually at that time Avanti was already married. Now if we are governed by Hindu law, then in that case a person whose spouse is living cannot get married without he or she has been divorced by the spouse, or there is a death of any of the spouse. So in this condition, what would be the solution? Avanti at the time when was already married, now if this condition is performed, the provision of Hindu law will be defeated, because Avanti is a Hindu, cannot marry twice when the first husband is living and there is no divorce between her and her husband, and hence this type of condition is going to defeat the provision of any law, and therefore it would be termed to be a void one. And because the condition is void, the transfer on the basis of such condition would also be termed to be a void one. Now let us see the third basically condition. The condition should not be fraudulent. Now what do we mean by the term condition should not be fraudulent? If the condition is fraudulent, the transfer will become void. What does it say? If the condition is fraudulent, then the transfer would be void. If whatever the condition which is attached with the transfer of the property is of fraudulent in nature, is what is fraudulent in nature, then in that case it would become void. The transfer itself would become void. Example, A makes a gift of his house to B. A makes a gift of his house to B, who is agent of C. किसका agent है वो? C का agent है. On the condition that B shall give a false receipt on behalf of his principal C. कौन सी कंडीशन के ऊपर? ए जो है वो गिफ्ट कर रहा है अपने हाउस को बी को, इस कंडीशन के ऊपर कि बी जो है वो सी के नाम से या सी के बिहाफ में क्या करेगा? फॉल्स रिसीप्ट देगा. सो द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ दिस इज व्हाट? वी आर actually making C do fraud with, we are making B to do fraud with C, his principal. And therefore the performance of this condition would be fraudulent, and therefore the transfer is void. Now let us see, when we say that the conditions which involves injury to the person or the property of another would be termed to be a void one. That is to say, condition which is attached to the transfer of property should not be of such a nature which involves an injury to the person or a property to the another person. Now what does this mean? If a condition involves or implies any injury to the person or the property of another, then in that case the condition along with the transfer on the basis of which this transaction has taken place, the condition itself is void. Apart of that, this condition on the basis of which the transfer takes place, both the condition and the transfer would be termed to be a void one. Now let us see example. A transfers rupees 3000 to B. A transfers rupees 3000 to B on condition that he shall murder C. What is the purpose? Murdering C. मर्डर करना है सी का, ये पर्पस है ए का, और इसके लिए वो 3,000 रुपए किसको दे रहा है, बी को दे रहा है. द ट्रांसफर इज void बिकॉज द कंडीशन इन्वॉल्व्स एन इंजुरी टू द अनदर पर्सन. बिकॉज ये जो ट्रांसफर है ये क्या कर रहा है, ये एक तरीके का इसमें किसी पर्सन को इंजुरी पहुंचाना ये कंडीशन है. And on the basis of that, we can declare such kind of a transfer as well as the condition to be a void one. Now let us see, the condition should not be immoral or opposed to public policy. Now what does this mean, that the condition should not be immoral or opposed to public policy? Because if the condition attached to it is immoral or opposed to public policy, then in that case such kind of a condition would be termed to be void, and the transfer also on the basis, the condition also on the basis of which the transfer takes place here, the transfer also would be termed to be a void one. Now let us see, if a condition is such that the court regards it immoral, if the condition is such that the court regards it immoral or against the public policy, the transfer depends upon such a condition shall be void. अगर condition जो है वो ऐसी है कि कोर्ट जो है उसको immoral या against the public policy regard कर देता है, तो ऐसे में ये कंडीशन जिस ट्रांजेक्शन के साथ अटैच थी वो ट्रांसफर भी अगर हो गया सपोज, तो वो कैसा माना जाएगा, वॉइड माना जाएगा. नाउ लेट अस सी द एग्जांपल. अवंती ट्रांसफर्स ₹3,000 to Seema. Who is transferring ₹3,000 to Seema? Avanti transferring ₹3,000 to Seema. If Seema will desert her husband, the transfer is void. लेकिन अगर सीमा जो है वो अपने हस्बैंड को छोड़ देगी तो अवंती उसको ट्रांसफर करेगी 3,000 rupees. Such type of a condition would be termed to be a void one. Now let us see, we have already seen the examples, we have already seen what do we mean by the term valid conditions and what are void conditions. We have already seen what are three kinds of actually conditions and the detailed provision relating to those. But while dealing with the condition precedent, condition collateral and the condition subsequent, I specifically made it very clear that condition precedent of performance becomes very important for the reason that only on the fulfillment of the condition precedent, the transferee gets interest in that particular property. So far as the collateral condition is concerned and the condition subsequent is concerned, both actually deals with the provision which helps them to retain that particular property till the condition is complied with, or later on until the condition is complied with. When we say that till the condition is complied with, that is to say it would be the situation of collateral condition, and when we say that until it is complied with, or later on one have to comply with, till the time he do not comply with, he is not going to get a right to retain that particular property, or suppose if he do not comply with, then in that case he will be losing his right to retain that particular property, then in that case that provision relates with the condition subsequent. Now while going through all these provisions which we have studied early, it comes to our mind that fulfillment of condition precedent is very much important for the reason that in later on two situations, that is to say in collateral condition and the condition subsequent, the property is already transferred to you. It is only upon you to fulfill the condition later on and to retain the enjoyment of that particular property. But once we say that it is a situation of condition precedent, then in that case what is going to take at the priority? The fulfillment of the condition would be at the priority, and unless and until you fulfill the condition, you won't be in a position to take the interest in any kind of interest in the property. So let us see section 26, which deals with the fulfillment of condition precedent. If the term of the transfer of property impose a condition to be fulfilled before a person can take an interest in the property, the condition shall be deemed to have been fulfilled if it has been substantially complied with. कहने का मतलब है कि ट्रांसफर करते वक्त में कंडीशन प्रेसिडेंट अटैच की गई थी और उसको देखने के बाद में ये इम्प्लाइडली हमारे समझ में था कि अगर मान लीजिए पर्सन उस पर्टिकुलर प्रॉपर्टी जो उसको ट्रांसफर होने वाली है यदि उसके पोजीशन में पाया जाता है तो हम क्या मानेंगे कि इससे अटैच जो कंडीशन थी उसने ऑलरेडी कंप्लाइड कर दी है, क्योंकि कंप्लायंस करने के बाद में ही तो उसको प्रॉपर्टी में इंटरेस्ट मिलने वाला था. तो अगर आज वो प्रॉपर्टी के पोजीशन में है, इट मीन्स व्हाट, उसने क्या किया है, जो कंडीशन है उसको कंप्लायंस किया है. नाउ लेट अस सी एग्जांपल. Amit transfer rupees 3,000 to Bhushan on a condition that he shall marry with the consent of Chetna, Hemant and Meena. Now Meena dies. Bhushan marries with the consent of Chetna and Hemant but obtain their consent after the marriage. कहने का मतलब है उसको पहले कंसेंट ऑब्टेन करना था, पर उसने क्या किया, उसने पहले मैरिज कर ली और बाद में कंसेंट ऑब्टेन किया. देन इन दैट केस हम ऐसा बोलेंगे कि यहाँ पे भूषण ने क्या नहीं किया, कंडीशन प्रेसिडेंट फुलफिल नहीं किया. नाउ ये जो बेसिकली प्रोविजन है ये डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ साइप्रस जो है बेसिकली इंग्लिश लॉ का, उसके ऊपर बेस्ड है. Sometimes you may have a short note on doctrine of Cyprus. So there is no actually clear cut provided in the syllabus, but again you may receive a short note on this doctrine of Cyprus because it is a base of section 26 of transfer of property. So what does this say? This basically provision, fulfillment of the condition precedent, is based on the English doctrine of Cyprus. It means that when the literal performance of the antecedent condition is rendered impossible for some reason, substantial performance in conformity with the original intention of transferor will suffice. Now what does this mean? Let us see the example first and later on we would try to interpret it. Firstly, Avanti transfers rupees 3,000 to Beena on the occasion that she shall marry Anil with the consent of Ram, Rahim and Rakesh. Avanti transfers rupees 3,000 to Beena on condition that Beena will marry Anil with the consent of Ram, Rahim and Rakesh. At the time of performance of marriage, Rahim dies. ठीक है, जब शादी हो रही है, परफॉर्मेंस हो रहा है शादी का, तब रहीम डाइज एंड देयरफॉर बीना मैरिज विद द कंसेंट ऑफ राम एंड राकेश. तो बीना जो है वो किसकी कंसेंट से शादी कर लेती है, राम एंड राकेश की कंसेंट से शादी कर लेती है. बीना इज डीम्ड टू हैव फुलफिल्ड द कंडीशन बिकॉज शी हैज सब्सटेंशियली कंप्लाइड विद द कंडीशन. हम ऐसा मानेंगे कि बीना ने कंप्लायंस किया है कंडीशन का क्योंकि उसने क्या किया है, सब्सटेंशियली यानी मेजॉरिटी पोर्शन जो है वो कंप्लायंस किया है, और जो पोर्शन रह गया है वो पोर्शन कोई भी कंप्लीट नहीं कर सकता अगर ये किसी और के सामने इम्पोज की रहती कंडीशन, फॉर द रीजन कि रहीम की डेथ ही हो गई है और इसीलिए ऐसा माना जाएगा कि बीना हैव कंप्लाइड द कंडीशंस सब्सटेंशियली एंड हेंस she need to get a property which the Avanti was about to transfer to Beena. ठीक है. Now rule against acceleration. Now what is this rule against acceleration? Section 27 deals about a different aspect in this. Now let us see what does it says. This rule would be called as a rule of acceleration. Now let us see. It is also one of the aspect and dimension of section 26. This rule against acceleration is nothing but one of the aspect and dimension of the section 26. According to this section, if an interest created on a transfer of property is intended to take effect upon the failure of a prior interest created by some transaction, same transaction, such interest will take effect upon the failure of the prior interest in any manner, unless it is clearly intended that subsequent interest is not to take effect unless the prior interest failed in a particular manner and the failure occurred in some other manner. Now let us see what it has been provided. इस सेक्शन के हिसाब से अगर इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट किया गया है ट्रांसफर ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी में और जो इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट किया गया है उसके अंतर्गत इंटेंशन ऐसा है कि जो सेकंड पर्सन है, सेम ट्रांजैक्शन में दो लोगों का नाम है और बोला है कि अगर पहला पर्सन जो है यदि वो फेल हो जाता है किसी भी मैनर में कंडीशंस को कंप्लाई करने पर, तब सेकंड आदमी जो है उसको ये प्रॉपर्टी मिलेगी. तो ये इंटेंशंस कैसे एकदम क्लियर है कि सेकंड आदमी जो है उसको प्रॉपर्टी तब तक नहीं मिलेगी जब तक कि पहला इंसान कंडीशन परफॉर्म करने में फेल नहीं हो जाता. लेकिन यहाँ पे कोई यहाँ मैनर नहीं दिया हुआ है कि किस मैनर में उसने कंडीशन परफॉर्म करनी है, प्रायर पर्सन ने किस मैनर में कंडीशन परफॉर्म करनी है. लेकिन यदि ऐसा स्पेसिफिकली दिया जाए कि प्रायर पर्सन ने इस पर्टिकुलर तरीके से कंडीशन परफॉर्म करनी है, देन इन दैट केस अगर मान लीजिए उस पर्टिकुलर मैनर में कंडीशन परफॉर्म करने से प्रायर पर्सन चूक जाता है, देन इन दैट केस ऐसे वक्त में किसी भी अदर मैनर में करेगा तो भी जो सब्सिक्वेंट बेसिकली ट्रांसफरी है, he'll be having a right over that particular property. Now let us see here the acceleration means what? The effect of a prior interest is to accelerate the subsequent which are limited to take effect on the regular determination of that prior interest. The court construe the gist of such interest as intended to take effect on the failure or determination of prior interest in any manner. Now let us see an exception to this particular rule. What is an exception to this particular rule? If the prior interest is void, अगर prior interest जो है वो void है तो ulterior interest depends upon it also falls. तो अभी तक जो हम पढ़ा उसके हिसाब से अगर प्रायर इंटरेस्ट वॉइड है तो डेफिनेटली बाद में ट्रांसफर के तहत मिलने वाला हमारा जो इंटरेस्ट है या जो हमें प्रॉपर्टी मिलने वाली है वो भी कैसी मानी जाएगी? वॉइड मानी जाएगी. नेक्स्ट इज इफ द इंटेंशन ऑफ द ट्रांसफरर इज स्पेसिफिक, लेकिन यदि ट्रांसफरर का इंटेंशन कैसा है? स्पेसिफिक है, then the section transfer would take effect only when the prior interest will fail in the particular manner. Then according to this particular section ट्रांसफर जो है वो कब इफेक्ट में आएगा या कब इफेक्ट लेगा? जब प्रायर इंटरेस्ट पर्टिकुलर मैनर में कंडीशन को परफॉर्म करने से चूक जाएगा या परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाएगा, तभी जाके क्या होगा? जो बाद वाला पर्सन है, जो सब्सिक्वेंट पर्सन है, he'll get the interest over that particular property. Only on the failure of the prior interest in that manner the second transfer takes effect. केवल जब पहला इंटरेस्ट जो है वो फेल हो जाएगा परफॉर्मेंस में किसी भी मैनर में या जो पर्टिकुलर अगर कोई मैनर बताया गया तो वो मैनर में, then in that situation only the second transfer would take place. So students